Hello, friends, and welcome back to the new episode of r/IDontWorkHereLady, and our first story of the day about how appearances can be deceiving. Never judge a book. I just joined the Reddit family, and this is my first post. I'm old, like in my 70s old, but my wife said that some of my stories might be entertaining. This is something I witnessed about 10 years ago. OL is old lady, BB is big bully. I was shopping at a store with a big bullseye logo. I noticed this old lady, probably late 60s, who was just going about her business. I noticed because she held herself very upright with a lot of confidence, though she was only about 5 feet tall and 100 pounds if she was an ounce. She had on a nice red blouse and tan pants, which turned out to be a bad fashion choice for this store, as you'll soon see. As I passed by, we nodded to each other, and I started making my way to the luggage and bags to look for a new backpack for myself. After a couple of minutes of looking, I heard raised voices and glanced over my shoulder to see the old woman in a heated exchange with a middle-aged man, BB, twice her size. He was talking very loudly and calling her awful names, the B word and worse, and telling her that just because she was old didn't mean that she could ignore customers. She was, I imagine, trying to explain that she didn't work there, but couldn't get a word in edgewise since the BB was refusing to let her talk. I started to walk over there to see if I could help, but soon I saw that my help was not needed. BB actually had the gall to grab her by the shoulder and give her a shake. I will never forget what happened next. OL grabbed his wrist, twisted it behind him in some kind of martial arts move, and kicked him behind his knee, which made him collapse onto his knees. Then she had his arm behind his back with his hand in what looked like a very painful position that apparently he couldn't escape from. By then, I was close enough that I heard her softly tell him, "Look, I said I don't work here, and I will break your friggin'," she didn't say friggin', "arm if you try to touch me again. Now, do you understand?" He started to struggle, but gave up when she elevated his pinned arm a little, and he cried out in pain. She said, "I asked you if you understand." He nodded his head, and she just said, "Now, are you going to be a good boy and leave me alone?" He nodded again, and she released him. He knelt there on the floor for a minute, rubbing his wrist and looking like any full-grown man would look if they just had their butt handed to them by a little old lady, contrite and embarrassed. She simply walked away and continued shopping. He finally got up and speed-walked out of the store. I caught up to her and asked if she was all right, as if. She smiled sweetly and said, "I can't stand bullies." We talked for a minute, and she told me that she took self-defense classes at a nearby senior center, and she learned to take care of herself a long time ago and refuses to be bullied. Like the title says, you can't judge a book by its cover, so don't mess with harmless-looking little old ladies. They might just kick your butt. Husband goes full drill sergeant on a Karen. Before I start this story, I have to tell you about my husband. I'm French, and we met while he was on vacation in Europe. One thing led to another, and now I live in Ohio with him. He's a hard-working gentleman, an Army veteran of 2 conflicts, and I thought he had a very serious and almost hostile demeanor. Think of resting bee-face but angrier and on a guy. He's actually a big teddy bear, quick to make a joke or pull a prank, and easy to laugh. He's also very protective of me. Since I'm not here to gush on him, I'll go on. So we're getting groceries last week, and as we're checking out, I was bagging up all our stuff because the store now requires that you bag your own goods if you bring your own bags. No big deal. He pays, and I stay to help a very elderly lady behind him bag her groceries and put them in her cart. He'd helped her unload them. We offered to help her put them in her car. She shuffled away from the register, and I moved to follow. As I turn away, I hear behind me, "Where the hell do you think you're going?" I turned to see a very angry-looking woman glaring at me. I told her politely that I don't work at the store, and I just helped the elderly lady to be polite, and that I was now leaving with my husband to go home. I had never met an American Karen before, so I thought this would be the end of it. I turned to walk away and feel a vice grip on my arm. "Don't be lazy, do your job and help me bag my groceries." I didn't even have time to respond. She'd barely finished speaking when my husband wrenched her hand off me and was yelling in her face. This was the first time in the 10 years we've been together that I saw the old soldier come out. His nose might have been 3 inches from hers, and his voice was loud and frightening. "Who the F do you think you are? How dare you put your hands on my wife? She told you she doesn't work here. Are you too effing stupid to understand simple English? Go pay for your crap, bag your own damn groceries, and don't you dare utter another effing sound. The silence after that was intense. A store full of people could hear a pin drop. The look on her face wasn't even angry. It was pure terror. She shuffled back to her aisle and waited for the cashier. My husband went to the old lady and said, "I'm so sorry you had to hear all that, ma'am. I apologize if my language was offensive. I hope you'll still allow us to help you load your groceries into your car." It was surreal, like he'd just flipped on a switch and flipped it back off. Also, we got chased down by the store manager, who suggested we could be banned because of the yelling and bad language. My husband just shrugged and said they'd better ban the Karen too for assaulting me, and that there are other grocery stores in town. We just go to this one because it's close. We didn't get banned. But I know the CEO. I'm working as the main cashier for my shoe store, and a familiar phrase comes up when a customer approaches. "Is there any way I can get a discount?" The customer's shoes are not on clearance, nor is there any physical problem with them, so this is a no. I don't see any clearance tag on these, and they're ringing up full price, but let me check your rewards and see if there are any coupons available to you. I take the customer's number and pull up her account. No coupons. Sorry, looks like nothing's available right now, but you will earn some points today that'll get you closer to your next discount. Normally, this is the end of situations like this. People accept that there are no rewards available on their account. I assure them that they are earning points towards them. They pay, and I'm off to the next customer. "But I know the CEO," she says. Here we go. Now, I've never encountered this particular excuse before, but I've seen enough retail stories to know how to debunk them. "Oh, you must know Mrs. Faust then," I say, just using the first name that comes to mind. Our CEO is male, and his name is nothing close to Faust. She nods. Yeah, Miss Faust. We had dinner like 2 weeks ago. Oh, how are her kids doing?" She posts on the company forum about them all the time. The actual CEO has no kids, and there is no such thing as a forum for our company. Her kids are doing great. Hers and mine play all the time. Sounds fun. All right then, I'm going to call my manager up to see what we might be able to do about a discount for you. I call up my manager and tell him the customer knows the CEO, Mrs. Faust, because we're required to know the CEO's name and face just in case of a surprise visit, which happened one time because he was buying a vacation house in our city. My manager knows that I know she's lying. The face she made when my manager laid down the facts was priceless. She makes the excuse that she was thinking of a different company and rather silently completes her purchase. After she leaves, my manager gives me a fist bump and says, "Don't do that again." I still might. Karen, do you need a friend? This is what I get for going to the store instead of ordering groceries to be delivered. So with the corona stuff going on, I've been dutifully staying in my apartment, like a decent human being, and limiting any time I spend outside. Unfortunately, this has been hell on my partner's mental health, and the depression is real. So I decided, screw it. We're both food boys, and he likes cookies. There's a Giant the next block over, so I get dressed, put on my sweet Disney mask, go on Etsy, their designs are wonderful, and head out to get my partner some cookies. Now for reference, my style is hobo chic, so sweats, sneaks, graphic tee, and a hoodie. Keep that in mind. I go into Giant and head for the cookie aisle. I'm considering if I want Oreos or do I want to be fancy and get Prepridge Farm. These are the important questions of life. When an older woman who's very short asks if I can grab something off a top shelf, of course I say yes because she was nice enough to ask. I'm a simple guy. I hand her the item and go back to my contemplation. As I decide to get them both, I hear the I've worked in retail and I've worked in food service, so I know the sound of a wild Karen when I hear one. "What's up?" I say. "What's up? Is that how you treat?" I have zero interest in the way of spoons and even less patience. "Ma'am, I'm going to need you to look at me and try that line of thinking again. Who the F? Hey. Let me tell you what we're not going to do. I need you to woo, and chill. I know you know better." Karen still looks mad but doesn't say anything. "Now, I can help you find an employee if you want, but what you will not do is yell at me. I'm only here to get cookies." I point at my stomach. I'm a thick boy. Not that I need them. Karen then cracked a small smile. Gotcha. But at this point, I'm committed to this. I didn't choose thick life, it chose me. Karen now starts to crack and laughs a little bit, all of a sudden starting to tear up. I'm 6 feet tall and 300 pounds and black. And a crying Karen is a bit detrimental to my continued freedom. You okay, I say? Yeah, it's just that this is the first time I've laughed in a while. My husband's in the hospital. The virus? Yeah. I'm not sure if it means much coming from some cookie guy, but I hope he recovers. Karen smiled and walked away. While she did apologize for popping off, I'm glad it didn't escalate further. Her husband's condition doesn't excuse what I'm sure would have been an awful tirade, but it does serve as a reminder that crap is bad for everyone. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.